It was 3:22 a.m. I know because I'd been watching the little glowing green numbers slowly tick over for the last hour and a half. I'm no stranger to insomnia, but tonight's was particularly bad. I decided that if I wasn't asleep in 15 minutes, that I would just get up. I lay facing the open door, my husband sound asleep on the bed behind me. I closed my eyes and started counting my breaths, a trick that often helps me get to sleep, though it had already failed me several times on this night. No sooner than I had counted my fourth breath, I heard a small sound in the hallway, like someone softly shuffling their feet. I slowly opened my eyes and was startled to see my husband charge into the room like he was escaping a burning building. He quickly darted around the foot of the bed to the other side. I rolled over quickly to ask him what was wrong. Why was he running through the bedroom in the middle of the night like that? But before I could say a word, I found myself face to face with his forearm, which was flung over his head and resting on his pillow. His other arm lay gently over his stomach, which rose and fell in time with his soft snores. I was stunned into silence. I would have felt and heard him get into bed, and there's no way he could have done so in the split second it took for me to roll over. Needless to say, there were no further efforts at getting to sleep that night. I tried to rationalize that I had fallen asleep and that it was a dream, but I know that's not the case. I was wide awake. He swore up and down he hadn't gotten up in the middle of the night and seemed genuinely freaked out by what I had seen. Now I wonder if or when I'll see him again.
And welcome, everybody, to the Castle of Spirits True Ghost Stories podcast. That was an interesting intro there, Jane.
Yeah. So we had an idea today to just, try out a couple things with the podcast. And one of them was maybe just reading short, little creepy stories or anecdotes before we start the episode. And that one was written by yours truly. Thank you. It was very loosely based on a real thing that happened in our house, isn't it?
It is. I remembered as you were saying it, and I was like, oh, wow, this is that thing that she told me about that I really didn't pay much mind to because I guess I was half asleep, too, when you told me about it.
Well, you're the one who freaked out. So real life, it was me. I was coming back to bed. I got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and I guess I just came charging into the room, and he didn't know I was up. And I got to the foot of the bed, and he sat up and was freaked out, what's going on?
Well, because sometimes I feel like I have to spring to action just in case. I mean, it's not like we haven't had a crackhead at our door trying to get in at 3 a.m. before. So, I'm kind of ready for that now.
Vince lives life on the edge, and by on the edge, I mean on the edge of sanity.
And on the edge of the bed, and on the edge of the mattress, because she kicks me over to the edge, and she steals all the covers, and she's mean to me, and she beats me.
That's not true.
I lied to you about what happened to my finger. It was her. She bit it off. I'm just kidding. Don't get that. Don't get that look. I can feel your look.
Anyway, welcome to the Castle of Spirits True Ghost Stories podcast. I am your ghost keeper, Jane.
And I'll be your ghost keeper, Vince, representing with the official merchandise of the Shaun of the Dead movie, the I Got Wood Ed t-shirt.
That t-shirt is like 20 years old.
It really is. It really is. And I'm very happy to say that it's a little bit too big for me now. So there you go, 2006 me.
You're not Ed sized anymore.
No, not quite. Not
that's
quite.
good.
But hey, I'm glad to be here tonight. And we are doing something a little bit different this evening.
Yeah.
As you can tell, we've already started that off.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to be telling ghost stories.
We never do that. That's crazy.
We never tell ghost stories that are new. Well,
Well,
we
not
do tell new
never.
ghost stories from people who submit. But we decided to focus solely on brand new ghost stories because we have a glut of really cool new ones that we wanted to share with you.
That's right. And we're going to do so today. You want to just get right to it?
Yeah, I'm really excited to share this next story with you because it was submitted by somebody who's been a good friend of ours for nigh on 13 years.
Yeah.
His name is Mr. Paul Weston.
Aw, Paul.
Of Townsville, Australia. And we've been bothering him for years and years. Well, yeah, a couple of years now, saying, hey, you're from Australia. That's where the Castle of Spirits was founded.
Mm-hmm.
You've had life experiences, and I know that you've had some hauntings.
Yeah.
And so he said, no, I have never had one. But then he remembered one. So he submitted the story to us. Actually came in November of 2025, but we're just now getting around to reading it
because we suck at our
we're
jobs.
Lazy. We're lazy Ghostkeepers. Anyway, this is called Ghosts of York. I just remembered a story from when I was a Kon-Tiki tour of Great Britain. One of the cities on the tour was York, famous for numerous ghost walk tours, which I went on one. Our hotel was a manor. Unfortunately, I have forgotten the name, but it was legendary for being haunted. My tour mates checked in and were shown to our rooms. Most people had two people in their rooms, but I paid for a single as I was holidaying on my own. As soon as I got to my room, I laid down to have a sleep as I was exhausted. No sooner had my head hit the pillow than I heard some noise outside my door, almost as if someone was putting luggage down. I ignored it and tried to sleep, but then I heard the doorknob turning, and I immediately thought someone had the wrong room and was trying to get into mine. I got up and went to the door. The doorknob stopped turning. I curiously looked through the keyhole and found no one on the other side. I thought. Maybe my mates were playing tricks. It was a haunted house, after all. I went to turn and go back to the bed, but the doorknob turned again. I quickly peered through the keyhole and saw no one on the other side. So I quickly opened the door as the knob kept turning, only to discover there was indeed nobody there. Now, I'm nobody's fool. He's not. I inspected the door to see if there was any electronic trickery, and there was not anyone on the outside. I seriously believe it was a ghost. I stayed 2 nights and didn't have any other experiences. Then there's a postscript that says, "Yay, my ghost story." And that was Paul Weston from Townsville, Australia, November 2025. Ghosts of York. So now, you don't know Paul. You don't know Paul.
I know Paul.
You know Paul. You don't know Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Paul is a very down-to-earth person. Is very practical.
Mm-hmm.
He's not somebody who talks about the supernatural.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually surprised that he had a story to submit. He seems very dismissive of things that you can't see or have scientific explanations for. You know?
He's a big fan of
practical
nonfiction books.
Mm-hmm.
He is an amateur filmmaker, award-winning amateur filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
Very down-to-earth guy, and yet to think that he had this experience is quite interesting. There's nothing to say that somebody wasn't fooling around with him,
Mm-hmm.
but I've heard those accounts, all throughout history, as they say.
Well, yeah.
Of people who go to the door. There's somebody pounding on the other side. They throw the door open and there's nobody there.
Yikes.
How do you fake something like that? How do you trick somebody like that?
I don't like it. But, when people who are not believers and very practical and very down to earth like that, when they have a story, like I tend to put a lot of weight into believing those because they're not somebody who's out there looking for it, like I would be. Be like, oh, this is an ancient hotel. I bet it's haunted. Let's listen for every little noise and see if we can find a ghost. But not Paul.
I'm actually surprised that we haven't had more experiences to share on this show than the few that we have had.
We've had quite a few. We've shared a lot of personal stories.
Yeah, but not anything new since, like in the last couple of years since we've been doing the podcast.
That's true.
And I would think that our mindset of being sort of more attuned to those kinds of things would have led us to have experienced something, if in fact the experiences are something that are created by the mind.
Well,
I don't believe that they always are,
and I don't believe that they always aren't.
right?
I mean, I think it's a spectrum, right? It's not black and white. It's not it was a ghost or you made it up. There's a whole host of gray areas in between, and I don't know. Sometimes it might be ghosts, sometimes it might be time slips, sometimes it might be doppelgangers. Or
So Paul could have been experiencing a time slip.
Could have.
Where the person that was supposed to have his room before
or
was
in
trying
the
to
future.
get in, or in the future.
Or in the future.
Oh, Paul, it might have even been you. Did you have an experience where you turned the doorknob and you couldn't get in?
Ooh, maybe it was a time slip back to when you came into the room. Set your luggage
This is
down.
This is getting too weird. We're going to lose Paul. He's not going to listen to the show anymore.
But I think my point in this is I don't think that you can blanket say every experience is for fact a paranormal experience. But likewise, you cannot say there are no real paranormal experiences. It's all fake. Like there's so much we don't know about, and there's so many things that people could be experiencing, and anyway.
Yeah. Excellent points. That's excellent points.
Thank you.
Wow, I stuttered on excellent points.
Amber in chat says, shun the non-believers. Oh, actually, Curtis said it, and Amber appreciated it, which I also did too.
And if you're listening in podcast land, we're talking about the people in the YouTube chat. We broadcast this live every Saturday night on YouTube. We record it live, and which is why what you're hearing right now is warts and all. Isn't that gross?
Yeah, it is really gross. They were throwing it down old school with some Charlie the Unicorn.
Indeed, they were. Now, tell me, Jane.
Okay, Vince.
I've been meaning to ask you a question for about, 15 minutes now.
Oh, okay.
I was going to ask you, do you have any stories to read tonight?
Oh, was I supposed to come prepared with that?
Yeah, we were going to come prepared tonight, and you were going to read some stories.
Oops.
That would have been
Can my first one just not be good enough? The one I read at the beginning? It was fictional, but...
That's not good enough. Well, you took my experience and you turned it into yours.
I did.
And
that's what you call art.
There you go. But these stories here tonight,
these
on the
ones
show,
are true.
Nothing but true stories.
Yeah, we may start with a little fictional story here and there at the beginning of the episodes for a while. Test out, see how it goes. But these stories, true.
We're also wide open to any suggestions on improvement on the show. Like, for example, if you think that I should wear a wig and a cape.
Nobody's going to suggest that.
Why wouldn't anybody suggest it? First of all, I should probably cover this thing up. My head, that is. And second of all, I think a cape, I don't know, it might make me look fabulous. Geez, the older I get, the more fabulous I want to be. But it's not happening.
And the more fabulous you actually become.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. In fact, I do have a story to read.
Awesome.
And this is a part 2 to a story that I previously read on a recent episode.
No way. What is it?
This is by our good friend Amber Red. She is in chat on YouTube tonight. Hello, Amber. And this story is Not Amber, part 2.
Oh, yes.
Hello, Ghostkeepers and Mr. Moon and Freya. They say hi. I'll start with my husband's most recent run-in with Not Amber. My husband came home from working night shift around midnight a few days ago. He walked into our bedroom where I was reading in bed with my beautiful pup Azalea. When my husband made eye contact with me, he looked shocked, which immediately prompted me to say, "What the hell is wrong with you?" He then said with a terrified look on his face, "When I was walking in, you were reading downstairs. You were on the couch reading." I just slowly shook my head. I then walked downstairs. My art room where I paint, draw, and such is downstairs. I kept hearing papers falling on the floor. When I walked in my art room, some loose sketch paper was on the floor. I was obviously spooked, but highly intrigued at the same time. So I said out loud, "If this is the person who is mimicking me, please don't throw my things around, especially not the art supplies or my books." I then, for some reason, grabbed a sketchbook that I had already filled and set it on an end table in my art room. Before I went back to bed, I said out loud, "I left a sketchbook out for you if you want to look at it. Please, no more mess." I left the sketchbook closed on the end table in my art room. I went upstairs and told my husband what I did and said, and he was more than a bit puzzled. He said, "This is no time to make friends." When we came downstairs the next morning, the sketchbook was open. I know I left it on that end table closed. I hope you enjoyed the update. This is pretty freaky, but I can't say I hate the experience. My husband, on the other hand, might need therapy. Keep on spooking, Amber. P.S. My husband told me about a really scary experience he had in Korea with something he couldn't explain. Of course we want to hear, Amber. You don't have to ask us. Tell him to submit it right now. Anyway, thank you, Amber Red, for submitting Not Amber Part 2 from Hampton, Virginia in March 2026. And I love that this is like an ongoing thing with them.
Yeah, I mean, and the cool thing about it is that what's better than an ongoing ghost story, but an ongoing doppelganger?
Mm-hmm.
I've never actually, this is cool because we know Amber. I know Amber through you, obviously through the podcast, but I've never actually communicated with her or known anybody who has experienced the doppelganger thing or that is currently experiencing it.
Yeah.
That's freaky. You need to, I don't know, you can't really call Ghostbusters or,
I mean, you don't know.
Don't call TAPS because they're kind of out of business. And Ghost Adventures will just make a wreck of your house probably. Don't call us because we don't travel.
Yeah, and we don't really know what we're doing. Vince gets freaked out when the Ouija board says go-go, so, we're no good.
And when the Ouija board makes bad things happen in January. But,
He's still thinking the Ouija board was responsible for our rough start to the year.
I have made peace with the Ouija board. Well, I think.
Did you pull out the Ouija board and apologize to it?
Was I supposed to do that? Okay,
no, you said you were going to do it before.
No, I said it out loud hoping it would hear me. But
so
if I need to make some sort of
minimal
offering,
effort apology.
All right. Well, fingers crossed, if I can cross my fingers with this hand because it's been January. But yeah, that's so cool. Amber, if anything like that happens again, please don't hesitate to let us know.
Yeah. She said that she's never seen her.
Oh, I should hope not.
And I don't know if Not Amber will ever show herself to me. I think you probably don't want that from
No.
the doppelganger lore, which I'm not going to dig into right now.
Yeah.
You don't want to see your own doppelganger. Apparently, that's really, really bad luck.
No, I don't want to see my. I have a hard time looking at my reflection.
Oh,
Getting out of the mirror. Oh God.
come on.
Getting out of the mirror. Getting out of the shower. Sorry. Getting up out of bed in the morning. You're like, oh, I had a dream for a second that I was not old.
Aw, come on. I think
well.
you're a cute old man.
Oh God. What have I come to?
You're not an old man. Okay.
Oh.
So
No, the word cute. Who
well,
wants to be cute?
I have
Anyway.
a question that I've been meaning to ask you for
No.
at least the last 15 minutes.
This is not my blood or anybody else's blood on my shirt. It's fake zombie blood.
Fake zombie blood. That wasn't my question. My question was, do you have any other stories you'd like to read? This episode's just flying by. We're not being very chatty tonight, I guess.
I think what you need to do, though, before we get to my next story,
Okay.
is we need to play a game.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we had, Paranormal Would-You-Rather?
Uh-huh.
We had, all kinds of fun ideas sort of slated for the show.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff that we'd have to work on.
He's looking at his list of ideas, trying to decide which one he could do right now.
I keep a list of ideas that we never realize on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
I want to play a game of Paranormal Would-You-Rather, so hit me with something good.
Oh, by playing the game, you mean you want me to do it?
Yeah, because I did it last time. It
Okay.
was lame.
Would you rather look in the mirror and realize that your reflection is not moving with you? Or would you rather see yourself walking down the hall in the middle of the night while you're laying in bed?
I think I'd rather have the experience in the mirror because right away, I would probably go for some kind of weapon, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And if it was actually me or my doppelganger or maybe a projection of myself and I shot it, what happens if it's just a projection and not physically a doppelganger? That could be what's happening, Amber, too, is that your husband could be psychic, you could be psychic,
Mm-hmm.
your dog,
Maybe
Azalea.
Azalea.
could be psychic, and is casting that. They're acting
Mm-hmm.
like a projector of some sort. But if you shoot at it, would it be like shooting at a shadow?
Why did we have to go straight to guns?
Well, I said I would grab what if I chop socket it, I give it a roundhouse kick, and then I break my foot on the wall because it would go right through it.
Oh boy, here we go.
So yeah, that's why I wouldn't go after it in the hall. I would rather have the experience of looking in the mirror because let's face it, at some point in your life, you have to learn to stop looking in the mirror so much.
Wow.
And that might be something
I don't like
that could get you to stop looking in the mirror so much.
So here's my thing. I would much rather see myself walking down the hall in the middle of the night.
Why? Why do you think that would be better? I think they're both terrifying.
They are both terrifying. But seeing yourself walking down the hall at night, you can spin it out, right? Like, it was a ghost, it was my imagination, it was an intruder or dream or whatever. You can rationalize it away, even though it will still probably be the scariest thing you've ever experienced. However, looking in the mirror, you know that when you look in the mirror, what you see is going to mirror you. You move your arm, it's going to move the same arm in the same way. It's going to match you. That's just like a rule of the universe. That's how physics works or whatever, right?
Yes.
But if that reflection does not mirror you, now what? Does that mean your brain is broken? Does that mean
You're
that
right.
your
No.
mirror is a portal and you're going to get sucked in and disappear? Like, that is next level terror to me.
You
I
are
don't want that.
right.
Mm-hmm.
You would have more of a reason to think and to possibly to think you're losing your mind and to
Yeah.
possibly lose grip.
Yeah.
Whereas if you saw somebody that looked like you darting around the corner and you went around the corner and they're not there, you could think many things. Intruder. Well, you're right. This
Imagined.
Have you thought that? You haven't thought this one out. You just
No.
came up with this off the top of your head. That's why I'm not good at this.
Because I'm good at it. That means you're not.
No, because I pick all the wrong answers. I'd be living in a crazy mirror house.
You would though, for reals.
But what if? What if
Mm-hmm.
you looked into the mirror and your reflection said, "Come closer"?
Well, then that would probably mean that I had just said, "Come closer."
No, but what if your lips didn't move? Tell the story about the computer that told you to come closer.
Oh my gosh, that was the most terrifying thing. That's actually where I got the title for this episode from. And
I was wondering.
I was going to put the whole quote on it, but I decided not to. So one night I had been sitting on the couch on my laptop, and I don't know what I was doing, but I just left my laptop open on the couch when I went to bed, knowing it would go to sleep and whatever. And we have a sliding glass door right next to the couch in the other room. And the laptop was kind of facing toward it. Like if you were standing at that window, you could see there was a laptop open. So the next morning I get up and there's like a video screen open on my laptop. Like if you were going to have a phone chat with someone and you pull up like your computer's camera, you know, and there were all these dialogue boxes just stacked on top of themselves. And it said, "Come closer. I can't see you." And so that was really freaky. And to this day, I don't know what that was all about.
I think that was probably like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Right?
I remember having a thought that maybe there was someone with like a laser pointer at that window, and I don't know if a laser pointer would do a touch screen or what, but
and I don't know that the neighborhood crackheads would have the
ability
to do that with the come closer, take me to your pharmacist or something like that. But that was bad. But anyway, I think that looking back at it now, it could have been that your computer was trying to do facial recognition on you. Come closer, I can't see you.
Yeah, I don't know what it was,
which
but
means
it was terrifying.
that there was something staring at it, whether that was somebody on the other side of the locked screen door or somebody or something standing or floating inches away from your computer screen that didn't look like you.
Yeah. I don't know what it was, but it was it was really scary.
So if anybody out there, I'm sure that there's people out there with a little bit more computer savvy than we are. Mm-hmm. We're not exactly Luddites, but I don't work with computers like in that way. I use them for what I need to use them for, and that's it. But if you know what that could possibly have been, maybe 10 years ago.
I know what it was. Scary as hell.
Boy, scary AF indeed.
So surprisingly, several people in chat have said that they would pick the mirror. You guys, it's like you didn't hear anything I said. Except
I think maybe they just want to be like me, that's all.
Kenny does say walking down the hall. He would choose that one, which I agree. Yeah.
But
so.
but you wouldn't feel safe in your own home. You can always throw something over the mirror, like a
but you can't avoid mirrors.
Like a towel or something.
You can't avoid mirrors forever.
No, just that one.
Well, if it's going to happen in one mirror, I mean, at least if you just see yourself walking down the hall, your hall only exists right there. You can move out of the house, whatever. Burn it to the ground. But if your reflection starts, getting out of line, I mean, that's going to spread to other mirrors for sure.
And probably spread into you as well. And then soon that's how the alien hand syndrome, and you start smacking yourself in the head and punching yourself and choking yourself.
I was actually watching a video about alien hand syndrome today.
Okay.
That's some creepy stuff.
We'll try that on another episode in the future. If you or anybody you know has had any kind of alien hand syndrome, and I'm being serious.
Yeah, but it's not paranormal. That's a real thing.
No, but it's freaky.
It is, but it's a real thing that people can't help.
And besides, There is no paranormal, what do you call it? Category on Apple Podcasts or any of the other podcasts.
No podcast platforms.
None of the podcast platforms say paranormal podcast. It's either society and culture or true crime or sports or, or whatever. We're not none of those.
Yeah.
So we're literally a true crime podcast. Oops. Sorry. So there was this one time. No. But having said that, I'm going to read my next story.
I wish you would.
Speaking of true crime.
Ooh.
This story has nothing to do with true crime, but it is a crime that it took James from Rockford, Illinois, till March of 2026 to submit this story.
For shame.
But I'm so glad that you did, James. This story is called Mom's Visit. Shortly after my mother passed, like maybe a week or two at most, we held a celebration of life at a family member's house. After we said our goodbyes to everyone, my wife and I were on a 3-hour drive back from Germantown, Illinois. I'd say about 30 minutes into the drive, I smelled smoke. That unique smell of cigarettes, you cannot mistake it. Then we hear a soft whoosh of wind, like a window is down now. Mind you, my wife's car has automatic windows you can lower at the back, from the driver's seat too, but not from the passenger seat. Oddly, the back passenger window directly behind me was suddenly ajar. I briefly smelled more powerful cigarette smoke. The smell lingered for roughly 5 minutes. Then it faded away. We shut the window and spoke briefly of how Mom would always sit behind me, and it certainly smelled like her brand of cigarettes. To this day, I still believe it was her there. There's no other explanation how that window got open. But even if there was, where you smell cigarette smoke inside a moving car on the highway, where does that happen? It doesn't happen. To this day, I sometimes feel a presence in that car, not dark or anything, just something saying, "Hey, I'm still with you." Maybe it comforts me to know that humans do go somewhere after this. Where is that? Who knows? Do you want my theory? Yes, James. And James says, maybe we can choose to stay and watch over those we love. They claim the soul is energy, and if you know anything about energy at all, it's eternal. Thanks for reading. Well, thanks for submitting, James.
Wow.
That was Mom's Visit. Submitted this month, March 2026. We talk about that a lot, Jane.
Mm-hmm.
About human beings are energy.
Yeah.
The human soul is energy. I don't know if that's been proven. Of course not. It hasn't been proven. The soul has not been proven.
Well, but
we are energetic.
We are energy. Yeah. And you've got to think.
Sometimes I feel like I don't have energy enough, you know what I mean, right?
Wow.
And I feel it dissipating too. So what does that mean? So when I reach the end, what am I going to suddenly burst to life again? Am I? Or is it my body that's holding back the energy? Anyway.
It's transferred to other things. You know, if you're cremated, it's transferred into the fire, which is, you know.
That's right. We talked about that one time when we were walking through the cemetery.
It dissipates and it just gets like dissipated so much that you can't experience it anymore, but that energy is still there. And I think that consciousness has to be a form of energy. I don't know, but I am of that same mind that we are all energy, and that energy can't be created or destroyed. It can only change, and how it changes, I don't know, but I believe it does. And maybe there's like a brief time after someone dies where the energy is still heavily concentrated and intact, and they can make a decision to do these things, to send a message, to visit someone or whatever before their energy dissipates.
And takes different form, because I think that
Right.
because energy doesn't necessarily mean that it's conscious or aware, right? Just like a bolt of lightning, does it really know what it's doing?
You don't know.
I don't actually know anything about that stuff. Keep the lightning away from me. I mean, just this, getting a shock in the wall is bad enough.
Wow, when was the last
But
time that happened?
no, it almost happened once, and I freaked out, and I'm still afraid it's going to almost not happen again.
Did I tell you the story about when I electrocuted my brother?
Yes, but tell it again.
Did I ever tell it on the show?
Yes, but tell it again.
I did? Oh, then
Yes.
I'm not going to tell it.
Mr. Moan is yowling in the background like he wants to be next. But we don't hurt animals around here,
No.
because only hurt people hurt animals. But yeah, that is an interesting idea, that the energy that is in transition from being human, conscious, into becoming just energy. During that transitionary stage, that it could manifest in some way. I think probably, it doesn't happen for everybody. And I think maybe...
Well, it probably happens in very different ways.
How do you mean?
Well, not everybody gives a one last goodbye from, after death. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me.
Wow.
But that doesn't mean that their energy just fizzled out just because they didn't come and tell you goodbye. We don't know. Like, we don't know. And I don't think that we can pretend like we have all the answers, or, all we can do as physical humans in this plane is wonder and look at things around us that happen and try to connect dots and, come up with the ideas and discuss and have conversations with each other. And because that's what we're supposed to do as humans.
I guess so. It's not for us to know, but we can conjecture about it.
Right.
And with that said, well, now I just feel it. Did I ever tell you the story? I think I told the story in the first episode about how after my grandmother died, we were all at the house, and a bird got into the house. A bird had never gotten into the house before at my parents' house.
Yeah.
A bird got into the house, and everybody's, look, a bird got in. Of course, I ran for a broom. I picked up a broom like some sort of a brute.
I'm picturing you like Buster Bluth in Arrested Development. It walked on my pillow.
Yeah, I had a Buster moment there. But the one thing that has always stuck with me about that, as Mr. Moon batters the microphone with his waggly butt, was that the bird flew and landed on the recliner chair that my grandmother always sat on. Mm-hmm. And it perched itself on the top of the chair, and it seemed to regard everybody in the room. And then it went boom, and it flew right out the house. Didn't get stuck in the house. It just flew right out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's cool.
The timing of something like that is what makes it seem like it's paranormal. If it had happened when she was sick or when she was still alive, we wouldn't have thought anything of it. We'd have just thought, that stupid bird got in. But at that occasion, during that time, I think everybody there took it as a sign, and I didn't know what to take it as.
Yeah.
But I think it's possible that maybe she thought, well, I'd like to say hello to everybody and look, I can fly now.
Right.
And
that's
and
cool.
she possessed this poor bird.
Aww.
Hopefully she flew it somewhere safe so that when it woke up, it was, it wasn't, in danger or anything like that. But yeah, interesting story.
Yeah. I like that.
At least I think so anyway.
Yeah. No, I think things like that happen, like when my grandfather died, the grandfather clock in my mom's house stopped. It didn't reach the end of its wind, It stopped.
It stopped at the moment he died, or around the time he died?
We don't know the exact moment
Yeah.
because it was in the middle of the night
Yeah.
while he was sleeping. But like it seemed to coincide with it, but that clock had never just stopped before or since. Yeah. So things happen.
And what's so
It
cool?
can't all be coincidence. They can't all be coincidence.
Why not? I mean,
Because
just to play devil's advocate.
a large percentage of the population has a coincidence every time a loved one passes. Like,
Well, I mean, one might argue that there are coincidences all the time,
well,
and we don't assign
and
them.
one might argue that there are no coincidences.
All right, M. Night. we're not talking about that right now.
Okay.
But it is an interesting conversation to have. Hey, if you guys have any ideas or any opinions about this, you don't have to. If you don't have a story to tell, to share at thecastleofspirits.com, you can email us and let us know what you think. You can just go to castleofspirits.com, and there's plenty of ways to get in touch with us there.
Yep.
And we appreciate you doing so.
Well, I still have another story to read, by the way.
Yeah, go for it. I'm
Also,
eager to hear it.
My brother is in the chat room and said, my dad never said it specifically. This is his father. But we had a running joke about ducks and geese. And ever since he passed, we have had a ton of ducks and geese fly over our house. I didn't know that. He never told me that. Oh, my mom said that they called her shortly after my grandfather had passed to let her know. Yeah. So, and it was apparently right shortly after the clock had stopped.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Kind of makes you think, what will you do when it's your time?
Oh,
whatever you do, don't tap me on the shoulder.
Oh, I'm gonna torment. I'm gonna go find me a chain and a sheet and be like, boo, bitches.
That's definitely your style.
I know it
sure.
is. I'm really looking forward to it, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't say what I do, but I have asked recently deceased loved ones aloud, hey, if you're there,
leave me alone.
Do not show yourself to me because I do not want to join you just yet.
I'm gonna grab your toe.
Oh, that's happened
while you're
before.
sleeping.
I've had that happen before.
I know,
It's
but I'm
old
gonna
hat.
do it.
It's not scary when that happens. Depending on how sleepy you are, you're like, oh, somebody tugged my toe. Good night.
All right.
Gotta get up early.
I'll
that sort of thing.
Pull your finger.
Well, then you'll have a big surprise.
Okay, I'm
With
gonna read
that
it.
said,
I'm gonna read another story.
Tell us a story, Jane.
Yeah. I gotta make sure it's a designer sheet. That's right.
Another new story, I hope.
It is.
Right on.
This is. And actually, I have to admit, I didn't read Amber's story first. I knew it was going to be good because the first one, this one that I'm going to read you, I also have not read yet. So I actually don't even know how long it is.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So
settle in,
there's a couple photos
it's going to be a bumpy ride. Oh, photos too?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
So this story is called The House from My Dream. And it was submitted by my friend Jenny, who is in Ogden, Utah, in March of 2026. This happened in the late winter, early spring of 2020. 2 months before this event occurred, I had a strange dream. In the dream, my then fiance, now husband, and I lived in this big house that had way more rooms than what we needed. We had one bedroom for using... We had one bathroom for using the toilet and one bathroom for showering. And another bathroom had nothing but a large bathtub in the center of the room. Most of the rooms were empty, completely devoid of any purpose. There was a staircase in the house that went up to the roof and a tiny door that you opened to a patio that was on the roof. The view from the rooftop patio was of downtown Ogden, Utah. Beneath that patio was a bunch of random closets with white shuttered folding doors. I texted my husband about the dream because it was bizarre, and I remembered it very vividly. I'm glad that I had the dream in writing because what happened next was one of the most unusual things that has ever happened in my life. 8 weeks later, I was driving through the canyon near our home, and I noticed there was a house for sale. I've always felt a desire to live in this canyon if an affordable house ever popped up. From what I've heard, you need to patiently wait for someone to die for a home to go on the market. I forgot to look up the sale listing right away. When it sprang to mind, all I could remember was that the house was a pinkish color. So I Google house for sale in Ogden Canyon, and there were only 2 homes for sale, and one of them was a pinkish color. I figured that must be the one. I requested more info online, and within 5 minutes, a real estate agent called me. She asked me if I wanted to see the house. This was during COVID quarantine, and I said, "Oh my God, finally something to do. Yes, I want to see the house," even though I had no intention of buying a house. The real estate agent asked if I wanted to see it right now. I said, "Yes, let's go." And we grabbed our masks and got into the car. While my husband and I were driving there, he said, "I wonder if it's my buddy's old house. He lived in the canyon, but he died a couple of years ago." We drove through the winding canyon, following the river, past the waterfall, and when the GPS had us turn off the road onto a small bridge about the width of my car, I realized this was not the house that I saw for sale originally when I drove by. We arrived at the house and can tell it needs work. The siding was worn. There were flower pots and kitschy yard decor outside that had been out in the elements for years, and a rickety old trellis that might fall down at any moment. The shape of the house was unusual, and it looked as though multiple rooms had been added to the original structure. The real estate agent pulled up, we greeted each other, and began chatting about the house. I had mentioned to her about someone having to die to get a house in this area. She responded that the owner of this house had been the caretaker for the mansion up on the hill, and that he died about 2 years ago. I am fully aware how cliché that sounds. The real estate agent unlocked the door, and I went inside first. The first thing I saw was a shadowy figure running away. And I yelled, "Ah!" And then I played it off like, "Haha, I'm such an idiot, I scared myself." It looked like one of those yard decor silhouettes of a cowboy leaning, except it was shadowy instead of solid black. It fled quickly, as if we had scared it. It went from an almost human shape into a much smaller, more circular shape, and left the room as fast as a startled animal would. Now, I am a skeptic down to my core, but I know what I saw. I saw a shadow moving quickly away from me as if it was not expecting me. I won't say it was a ghost or a deceased human, but I know what a shadow looks like, and I definitely saw one. The house was bizarre. It had a bunch of rooms that really didn't seem to have a purpose. You couldn't distinguish what was a bedroom and what was a living room. The outside of the house had a bunch of repurposed doors on it in place of siding. It was as if they would find doors and windows at thrift shops or dumps and just use anything and everything to build more rooms onto the house. There were doors everywhere, and most rooms had 2 or more mismatched doors to them. There were multiple bathrooms, one with just a shower, one with just a bathtub. As we were walking through, we're both feeling kind of weird. in one of the lower rooms was nothing but white shuttered folding doors. Then there was a small staircase that went up to a tiny door, and when you opened the tiny door, there was a rooftop patio on the roof of the garage. My heart started fluttering as I realized it was the house from my dream a couple of months ago. I didn't want to say that in front of the real estate agent, so I kept quiet. And then the craziest thing happened. I walked up the small staircase to the little door to look at the patio above the garage. And the exact moment I opened the door to the outside, a huge car crash occurred. A car in the canyon hit a telephone pole, and there was a loud explosion. The live wires hit the road, and sparks went flying. There was a bright flash like lightning, and it sounded like some kind of illegal motorcycle popping, like the noise a bullet bike makes. The power went out in the spooky house we were standing in. The traffic in the tight canyon started backing up, and the police arrived and shut down the canyon completely. My husband and myself and the real estate agent just stood in the windows, watching the scene unfold across the river. When we left the house, the second we got in the car, my husband is adamant. No way. That house is haunted. I'm never going back there. I said, what did you see? Because I totally saw something too. He said that he saw a shadowy figure huddled up in the corner of the room with all the white, shuttered, folding closet doors. It was crouching, as if hiding. I told him, I saw a shadow too, the second we walked in. Then I asked him if he remembered the dream I had about the weird house. And then I told him that was the house from my dream. Hey, let's just get out of here now, was the only thing he said. And when we got home, he Googled his friend's name. I'm sure you can guess the rest. It was his dead friend's old house. No. But it didn't end there. That night, I absolutely could not sleep. I was tossing and turning all evening. I felt like someone was standing next to our bed watching us. I asked whatever it was to please leave. It came back the next night. And again, I asked it to leave. It never came back after that. I'm a skeptic, and I don't really believe in this stuff most of the time. But I swear on koalas and Diet Coke, that's a big swear for her. I know. And orange cats, that all of this story is true. I'm not going off a vague memory from 6 years ago. This was written fresh after it happened in 2020. I'm attaching photos of the house from the real estate listing. The first photo is where I saw a shadow, and the second is the room where my husband saw a shadow. Oddly enough, the listing is still viewable at the time I'm submitting this, so I will link the listing as well. Also linking the car accident that happened that day. And then she does have 2 links in here to both of those things, as well as a couple of photos. Oh, it's a lot of shuttered doors. I was picturing like along one wall. This is like 2 full walls of shuttered accordion doors. Oh yeah, that house is kind of spooky outside, isn't it? And I know this canyon well. And if there's any kind of an accident, that whole canyon's getting shut down. But anyway.
Yeah, it's a 2-lane road, one going one way and one going the other.
Thank you, Jenny, so much for submitting The House from My Dream. That was fabulous. And I'm glad that I didn't read it before because it got to be all new for me. But
that was cool.
Yeah, that was super creepy. And
what she saw when she walked in there, man, I don't know that I would be even interested in seeing the rest of the house. I'd be like, hey, there's somebody here. Let's go.
So I'll be outside.
Somebody or something is in here.
Well, except you know me. I'd be like, guess I'm going in farther. Yeah, when we were looking at houses, when we were
God.
buying this house, I swear we looked at like 40 houses.
Yes. Yes, we did.
It
Yes,
feels
we
like
did.
it. And there were definitely a couple. There's only one that really stands out in my mind. That place was so creepy. We've tried to find it since to just drive by it.
And
be
the
like,
house no
"Ooh."
longer exists.
We just can't find it. It was 11 years ago. We can't remember the address. But yeah, it kind of had that same twisty, turny, doesn't make sense inside. It hadn't been
Is that the one with
added
the kill
onto.
room in the basement?
No,
Like
that was the house we almost bought.
Yeah, I wanted a kill room.
Wow.
Although what would I have done with it? I was a big fan of Dexter back
I guess.
What about the one where we went downstairs to the basement and there was some big dude there? He's all hi,
Oh, yeah.
and we're like, oh, what? And
We're all, okay, goodbye.
was it Monica? She's a realtor. She's like, oh, hi, we're just here to see the house.
And then we left.
And then we were like, and then we went upstairs, and then he was upstairs. I remember that. I thought at the time I thought he took the back stairs up, or there's some back way to go, because we didn't see the whole house.
Well, what was really creepy about that was the mailbox was overflowing with mail, and there were like at least 2 weeks of newspapers on the porch.
He probably was a squatter.
I don't think so.
But or some, I don't, even if your house,
The house was furnished and
it was
everything.
lived in, but it was just there. There was people were supposed to be gone. Like you're supposed to leave when somebody's coming over to see the house that you want to sell.
Anyway, if you're super into haunted houses, I suggest that you go house hunting for an old house, because you're going to experience some stuff.
I was convinced that guy was a ghost after a while.
Wasn't a
Didn't
ghost,
I ask?
you could smell him.
Well, I mean, you can smell ectoplasm, can't you?
What?
I don't know. Can you? Do ghosts smell?
That guy did.
Well, then maybe he was a recently deceased ghost or something like that.
Ew.
But he freaked me out.
He was a big guy.
Yeah, and that was not the scariest house we saw either. But I digress. It was a hell of an experience. And,
Yeah.
And I had my fill.
Yeah.
I had my full upness of seeing creepy places, and I'm glad we found the castle when we did.
But, I've always wanted to buy a house in that canyon too. So maybe we should just go look at a house there and see if we see a shadow or something. That's super creepy, Jenny. Thank you so much for submitting that. And anyone, if you have any kind of a spooky, creepy story that you would like to share with us, it doesn't matter what it is, honestly. As long as it's
spooky and creepy.
And and mysterious, and
don't worry about what it is. Just make it spooky and creepy,
just
and make sure
it's
there's
spooky
ghosts,
and creepy,
and make sure it's true. And
no,
make sure
it doesn't
that you
have
have
to have ghosts,
no?
and it doesn't
No
have to have photographs, but it does have to be true.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm thinking that. I thought I heard some music playing in the background.
Oh no, I didn't hear any music. No. Oh wait, I hear it now.
Oh, yeah. There it is. Just a little miscue.
Right.
Misfire.
So, friends, if you're watching us on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up and maybe leave us a comment. Make sure you're subscribed, because that's the only way we are going to achieve world domination and monetization on YouTube. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If we get over 1,000 followers on YouTube, we will host a party and invite you.
Physically?
Didn't say that.
Okay.
But make sure if you're watching on a mobile device, there's apparently supposed to be a hype button that you hype us, and
I've never seen it.
Helps us get discovered. So I need to be discovered. But just keep rocking and rolling, and keep your feet above the ground and your head above the water.
It's a whole lot of advice. But really, if you have a story to submit to us, head to castleofspirits.com, and you can find 10,002 ways that you can contact us and get your story over to us. If you like this story, maybe you should tell a friend.
I got an idea, though.
What?
If you hate this podcast, well,
I don't know
probably
who
don't
would,
hate it.
But
if you hate this podcast, don't tell any friends. Tell some enemies.
How many?
Two. Tell 2 enemies.
2 enemies.
And those 2 enemies will tell 2 more enemies. And then pretty soon, all the haters in the world will love us.
And we'll have world domination. And that's really exciting. So have a great weekend, everyone. And we will see you next week. Goodbye.